Hey, Emily Claire McFarland. Good morning. How are you doing today? So today is Wednesday, the 6th of March, 2019, and I wanted to wish you a merry day. So, St. Patrick's Day is coming up soon, and I think it comes up the 17th of March this month. And by the way, Emily, you are a little bit Irish on my side of the family. I sent you a St. Patrick's Day card, and in it I described, some interesting facts about my ancestry. I sent you a photograph of some family that were born like in the late 1800s and who were British citizens. That was on my mom's side. And we have, you know, we have English and Irish blood in us, so to speak. And so that's kind of neat to have that kind of ancestry and recognize it, what little we have, um, come St. Patrick's Day. So that's kind of interesting. It's relevant. The holiday is relevant. It's somewhat relevant to us, so that's kind of neat. Um, so I wanted to talk about today something that I would have been thinking about lately, a tendency that I've been noticing in myself, and I wonder if you've noticed it in yourself. And it's about media and your narrative. One thing I'm noticing quite a bit these days is how the media that I take in, that I consume, sort of gets used as material in my expressions with others and with myself. This is an interesting pattern. I do talk about how everything is a projection, and the things that we project is material that's available to us. And that material that is available, that's the media that we consume, right? It's the words, the people, the sort of like the conversations, the books, the audio books, the videos that we consume. Those are the things that are on our mind, the things that our subconscious mind and our conscious mind are dwelling on in the moment, right? Because we're following along in that stream of media. And our brain is processing that information, and because it's there at the moment, when we enter new situations, we tend to use that content, those available concepts, in the way we express ourselves. And this is really, I think this is key. If you want to preserve sort of a happy, flourishing life, and you care about others, and if you have a certain set of values, and if even maintaining those values, it's important to consume media that supports those values. I think it's important to do it consciously. Choose the media that you consume consciously, because you are going to express in the world around you and the people around you elements of that media. That's just the way it happens. In fact, you know what? You might be able to use it as a test for your friends or the people who you know, or even strangers. You might ask yourself, if this person is expressing a certain set of words or ideas, ask yourself, what kind of media do you think that person is consuming? I wouldn't be surprised if what that person is expressing is a reflection of the media that they are consuming. So your choice of media is really important, because, in fact, how you express yourself, through your values, If the media, if the medium, if the meaning you're creating, that is the narrative you're creating, is a function of the media that you're consuming, then wow, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And there's like a feedback loop, right? There's a feedback loop. You consume media, you express it, creating meaning in your life. And then you get feedback from your external environment. And then that feedback, along with the media that you consume, becomes again what you express in the world again. So it really is a giant feedback loop. And so it's really critical that you consume media that strengthens you, empowers you, that frees you, that makes you feel good, that is consistent with your values. Consume media consistent with your values. I guess that's the warning. It's not just a warning, but it's information that I've learned over the years. It really is important. And also what also is important is that the people you hang out with, the people you hang out with also reinforce the attitudes that you express to the world. So it's really critical that you choose people to hang around with, which are your kind of people that build you up, that sort of assist you in personal growth, that that help you express your strengths and more fully articulate and express your values. So anyway, it's just important. It's really important. Input, output, garbage in, garbage out. It's so true. It's so true. So anyway, I just wanted to communicate that to you, that I'm noticing that more and more. The fact is, we're just influenced by our environment. We have nerves. We have a nervous system, our brain and our nervous system that courses through all of our skin and our fingers, and our nerves are subject to conditioning from our environment. That's just what nerves do. Nerves respond to their environment. They're trained continuously by the media that we consume, by the people we have around us, by our workmates. It is a massive feedback loop. And so it's important for you to choose the environments and the media wisely. I guess that's all I want to say about that. It's just really important because you'll inevitably express elements of that media that you're consuming. Yeah. So let's see, what else is going on in my life? I'm going to probably be cutting this recording a little bit short today. I've got an appointment early this morning, and so I'm not going to be able to stick around for too long, but we'll stick around a little bit. So this morning, last night, I spent some time with some friends in San Luis Obispo, and we have a little ritual, I guess. It's a get-together format for discussion. It's called Council Circle, and I really appreciate it. And I figure I'll just discuss it a little bit with you because I'm going to be talking about it in some of my communications. Council Circle is just when a group of people get together, and what they do is they have a conversation. But they have a conversation one by one. And they go around the circle and everybody makes an input. And while people are making inputs, everyone else is silent. So there's no one-on-one communication necessarily. There's just a one-to-many communication. And, um, while people are talking, while a person is talking, the others are silent and they're listening, right? And there is an atmosphere of acceptance and compassion in the group. And I really like this method of communication. A lot of communication happens through conversation in dyads. That's the technical term for, say, face-to-face communication with another person. There's also triads, where 3 people are communicating in a smaller group or in a small group. This is a different form of communication where one person is communicating to many. And I just really appreciate the council circle format. I think it's a really useful way to connect with other people in the world today. It's also a highly efficient form of communication. Anyway, I wanted to let you know about how occasionally I go to council circle groups around town and in the local areas. And I want just to let you know that it exists and that it's a great way for people to spend time with one another and help each other grow, help each other when we're faced with challenges. So let's see, what else? What else is going on in my life today? Well, I'm preparing to go to Magic Mountain on Friday. I sure hope the weather holds up. Thankfully, this morning it is not raining. And in fact, we have a beautiful morning today, and we have a normal sunrise, and the clouds, there just aren't too many clouds. So it's not raining, which is nice. And in fact, that's actually something that's really exciting to me. I'm really looking forward to the spring and summer, Emily. I am. I'm looking forward to going to water parks. I'm all ready. I prepared some swimsuits and I need to go buy some sunscreen. I'm ready for May when a lot of the water parks open up this year. It's March, right? It's sort of early March. In May is when the water parks open up. And so I'm really excited about going to amusement parks this summer and water parks and going to, I don't know, national parks. I'm really looking forward to this warm summer. I'm gonna have so much fun. I'm planning on going camping twice. I'm planning on going to Albuquerque, New Mexico twice, traveling to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I mean, come on. It's gonna be awesome. Now, I also did just get a jury duty summons. So we'll see what happens there. It may be that I'll be spending some of that time in a courthouse. Some of the summertime in the courthouse. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully my trial doesn't last very long, or that is if I get one or not. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this summer. And all this rain we've been having lately, it's making our mountainsides. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are a lot more plants on the ground. There's a lot more green matter growing near sidewalks and in open spaces. And in fact, doing some hiking in the mountains might be an amazing thing to do. And we'd be getting so much rain, and water is life. And I'm really looking forward to this spring and summer where these rains will start producing life, plants and insects and small animals, and even larger animals are just going to start thriving because of all the water we've been getting lately. And I'm really just happy to know about all the water. I'm really glad that it's raining a lot, and in fact, I kinda wish that this area was a little bit more water. There was a little more it was a little more rainy and watery all the time because water is life, and, there's gonna be, like, a lot of wildflowers at the Carrizo Plain. I don't know if you've heard about the Carrizo Plain, but Carrizo Plain is, or the Carrizo State Park is, and I don't know a lot about it, but out, sort of beyond Highway 166, there's a state park. I think it's called the Carrizo Plain, and I hear it's a very beautiful place. I actually haven't been to it. I've only seen photographs, and I hope to go maybe in the next week or so and take some photographs there. I really have a feeling that this year is going to be spectacular in terms of just how beautiful that area is. So I'm going to take out my camera. I've got a Canon M50 mirrorless camera. I'm going to go take some photographs. In fact, what I've got to do is I've really got to get practicing on that camera. I would like to take really nice pictures, but it's going to take me. So I need to gear up. I need to spend some time with the camera and get confident again taking photographs because I actually have not been using that camera very much. Not lately. I've been doing so many other things. I'm reading, I don't know how many books, going to night school, spending my weekends at amusement parks. I've been just so busy doing stuff. I haven't had a lot of time to take pictures with my digital camera. So, anyway, thankfully, I've got my smartphone camera and I don't hesitate to take photographs with that. So, that's nice. Speaking of smartphone cameras, it's speaking to me. It's talking to me. Hi, Mr. Smartphone Camera. Ah, yes. Anyway, so let's see what else is going on in my life right now that you'd be interested in. So I have started drawing more using my iPad Pro, and I'm going to be sending you some videos of some of the work that I'm producing. It turns out that when it comes to drawing, I kind of get sucked into the experience. It's very soothing and calming, and it's sort of creative. There are a lot of decisions to make, right? About what lines I draw and what colors I use. It's definitely a process, where it requires 100% of my attention. And, I think it's going to be, sometimes when I'm having like a really slow day, I might pull out a book and I might read it a little bit. But I'm thinking that what I'm going to do more often is draw. That's just another thing that I can do when I've got some free time. Yeah, starting to get excited. And I'm learning more about drawing using electronic media by educating myself through the website called Skillshare.com. I have a subscription to that website because it provides information in an easy to learn way about to learn so that I can learn skills that are actually hard to come by. So anyway, I'm doing that. Oh boy. So let me start a question and answer period. That sounds like a good idea. So Em, I hope you're doing okay these days. Hope school is going well for you. Here we go. So I'm reading a book about relationships called 8 Days by John Gottman. And how much? I'm 25% of the way through the book. I'm about a quarter of the way through the book. And one of these days I'll have to create a video about relationships and tell you a little bit about some of my thoughts on the idea. We'll get there when we get there. It may take a little while. So, question number 262. What are your favorite summer and winter sports? You know, it's kind of funny. I get the feeling that I've asked these questions of myself before. I know. But hey, you know what? It might be interesting to go over that material a second time and see how my answers change. In fact, you're probably doing that right now, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, I'm kind of interested to see how my answers change too. So, what are my favorite summer and winter sports? So, my favorite summer sports, I guess I've talked about it briefly, and that is I like frisbee, I like playing catch, I like swimming. Those are my favorite sports. Um, I like dancing. I don't know if dancing can be considered a sport, but I think it's kind of a summer sport. I kind of like volleyball, but here's the thing about volleyball. I don't like falling. It's really the thing about volleyball is that I have a tendency to lunge and dive for the ball, right? So I end up falling on my knees a lot. Yeah, that's not a prescription for healthy knees, let me tell you. So let's see. What are my favorite winter sports? Well, I like basketball and I like watching football. But winter sports, I think my favorite would be skiing. That is downhill skiing, alpine skiing. Um, what's another winter sport that I enjoy playing? Making snowmen. Is that a sport? Baking. Is baking a sport? I don't know. It ought to be. The way I do it, it's a sport. Let's see. What winter sports? You know, the thing is, I don't really have a good conception of winter sports. I don't know. I think basketball probably might be my favorite winter sport. Thing is, I don't play it very often. Certainly not with a lot of people. Although I might shoot some hoops. Ping pong, is ping pong a winter sport? I don't know. It's indoors. All right. What's next? What's my most treasured piece of jewelry and why? Well, that would be my watch, which is right. It's not here. It broke, man. I don't know if my watch broke or not, but I think the battery has expired. It's been drained. And so I'm getting the battery changed out right now at a jeweler's. We will see if they're able to change the battery. I don't know. There might be other things wrong with the watch. I'm not sure. So what's kind of funny is I dropped the watch off like 2 days ago, maybe even 3 days ago, and I still haven't heard back from the jewelers. It's funny, which is okay. Basically the watch wasn't working. I was wearing the watch. I'd been wearing the watch for like 2 or 3 weeks on my wrist, and it was not operating. So my watch was completely unreliable. I just like wearing my watch. I think it's a nice fashion accessory. I think it's beautiful and I like it. I like my watch and I wanted to wear it even if it wasn't telling the time. Can you believe that? Isn't that hilarious? Why would I do that? I don't know. Human beings are funny sometimes. I just loved wearing that watch, even if it had no purpose. So anyway, I'm getting the watch repaired right now, and we'll see how much it costs to repair. And if it Cost too much, I'll just replace the watch with another watch. Why not? It wasn't an expensive watch. So, okay, what's next? My most treasured piece of jewelry was my watch. Now, why? Why is my watch? Here's the thing. Men generally don't wear a lot of jewelry. Why that is, I don't know. Gender differences, I think, society differences, um, cultural reasons, norms. I don't really know the reason why men don't wear very much jewelry, but generally we don't. um, so I guess that's really the only piece of jewelry I wear. What's my favorite piece of jewelry? That question almost assumes that I've got many different pieces of jewelry, and I don't. It's just the way it is, man. Okay, so this is the next question, number 264. What's your reaction toward people who are outspoken about their beliefs? What conditions cause you to dislike or conversely to enjoy talking with them? Okay, well, I like people who are outspoken about their beliefs, mainly because you kind of know what page you're on with them. And, you know, you know, there's like there's this aspect of human beings, which I don't know, we tend to keep things secret. And I'm still trying to figure out what that's all about, because for me, I'm more of an expressive guy, and I tend to express myself. But there's a lot of people who, in general, withhold information about their relationships and their feelings and their needs. And I tend to be a little bit more out there, not a lot more out there, but I tend to be a little more out there. I don't necessarily sort of withhold information to gain an advantage. For me, I'm always looking for partnership, communion with others. I'm looking for working hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. And you can really only do that if you share your ideas about how the world is working, what your plans are, what your goals are. And I have my desire to work in cooperation with people is just so great that it compels me to tell other people what's on my mind, what my goals are and what I need, what I want, what I desire. And that's just how I operate. A lot of people don't operate that way. They're about, gaining an advantage by withholding information. I think of it as sort of like a poverty mentality. If you're really struggling, you have to realize it makes total sense in our culture to withhold information, to gain an advantage. It makes total sense. And I think of it as sort of like, 100 years ago, people were living in had outhouses. They didn't have running water. Many people did not have indoor, central heating. A lot that culture of poverty still exists. It exists in the way that our corporations are set up only to make a profit for shareholders, and that's all. That's a poverty mentality where everything is devoted toward making profits. And hey, that's fine. The human civilization just came out of millennia where we didn't have enough money to survive and thrive, where we didn't have enough money even to feed ourselves, where everything was a challenge, like fetching water. We had to fetch it from a well. We are just emerging from that time. I think obesity is a result of a poverty mentality. You know, oh, imagine living living in a family that for generations um, didn't have enough food to eat. They were struggling, doing subsistence farming, hunting and gathering, right? And then there's all this abundance everywhere of all this food constantly around you. You know, if you still are stuck in the poverty mentality, your focus is going to be in eating as much food as possible and getting obese in the process. You know, it's just that poverty mentality where, I mean, even today, people buy the cheapest food they can possibly buy, even if they could afford higher quality food. It's just poverty mentality. It's a poverty mindset. In our culture, we still have a lot of it. We still have a lot of poverty mindset. And I think the opposite of poverty mindset is like, I don't know, maybe a generosity. Or maybe it's not, is it like a generosity mindset? And it's an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset, if you have an abundance mindset, then you just eat as much food that your body can handle at any point in time. I mean, you just, if your body doesn't need extra food, you don't eat extra food. You know, an abundance mentality also is present in like relationships, right? You know, if you have an abundance mentality in relationships, then people can enter your field of view and exit your field of view, and things are still calm. And, you know that there's going to be another person coming around with interests similar to yours, and then eventually they'll exit. And that will be that the entry and exit of these relationships are just part of the process, part of everyday process, and you're not bothered by it. But if you have a scarcity mentality when it comes to relationships, then you basically put all of your time and energy into one person, right? And you lock yourselves into a lifelong commitment, right? And it's all about scarcity. It's all about scarcity. And then if your partner wants something, you give up of yourself. You make sacrifices for your relationship. And a lot of the time relationships become one-sided or codependent. And in a scarcity mentality, relationships are tough. They're painful. And the question is, are you coming into relationship with a scarcity mentality or an abundance mentality? And the same is true with food. Scarcity versus abundance. And it's a mind shift. And anyway, that's kind of interesting. Well, anyway, I'm going to start wrapping up this video. I want to let you know that I love you very much. I'm committed to us as a father-daughter pair. I so like using that phrase. I'm committed to you and your well-being. I am interested that you flourish. I care about what you think. I care about how you're feeling in the moment, every moment. I'm interested in what's going on in your life. Very interested. I want to know more. I want to know about what's going on with you. Why? Because I care for you. I love you. And I cherish you. And I value you. You're a big part of what brings meaning to my life. And, I want you to know that I'm here to support. I'm here to support you anytime you may need me. If you need me at 2:00 in the morning, I'll be there. If you need me in a hospital room, I'll be there. If you need me to spot you $5, I can do that. I can spot you $5. Um, if if I find out that you have goals and if you, I would like at least to try to help you reach those goals, whatever they are. You want to be an astronaut? Fine. I'll help you. I'll try to help you do that. If you want to become an amazing architect, let's do this. Let's do this. If you want to do an experiment in marketing and sales, let's give that a try. I'm totally game. So I just want you to know that my trust in you is implicit. I respect and admire you. I recognize that you are in the driver's seat. I respect that and I honor that. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So anyway, I love you, baby. I'll talk to you later, Emily. Have a great day and a great week.